What is institutional adoption going to do to the price of XRP? That's what we're going to be talking about in this video because it is one of the more controversial topics in the XRP community. I want to talk about what wide scale adoption does to the price of XRP and how that's completely different from everything we're seeing today. Like always, your support means so much to this channel. Thank you to everyone who takes the time to like these videos and subscribe to the channel. These two simple things really do help me out so much. Also, if you ever need a place to buy some XRP, make sure to check out my favorite exchange uphold down in the description of this video. With that said, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So I want to start this video off and just give you guys a little context for why this is such an interesting topic and debate in the XRP community. And it really comes down to the fact that we have seen a lot of massive developments on the XRP ledger over the past 4 to 5 years, and we haven't really seen any of those developments reflected in XRP's price. Now, I believe there's a lot of different reasons for why this has occurred. One of the biggest reasons is at the end of the day, not a lot of people who actually have the big money to move these markets are really investing on a lot of the developments we're seeing right now. And that's because we are so new to the blockchain industry. We are so new to investing in these game-changing protocols that us as the enthusiasts, we see how some of these things are going to play out. We as the enthusiasts understand why large corporations and large institutions might want to use these technologies, but those large corporations and large technology providers, those large institutions, they are still building out their backend in order to even interact with these systems. They are still waiting on the regulations to occur so they can legally interact with these systems. So what I'm trying to say is a lot of us, we are seeing these developments and we're saying based on this development, why isn't this massive organization stepping in? Why isn't this massive institution stepping in? When the reality of the situation is I believe they likely will step in. It's just that there's a lot more that needs to be done prior to them taking that step. Now, with that said, I believe there's two massive drivers to a cryptocurrency market, specifically a utility asset like XRP, that we need to talk about before we can get into the discussion of what institutional utility will do to the price. And that is that I believe there are two main things that move the price of XRP right now. The first one is speculation. There is no doubt in my mind that speculation is a heavy driver of the entire cryptocurrency market. People betting on the future of these cryptocurrency assets. And I think right now, this has been the thing that has really driven most of the price appreciation we have seen over time. It's speculation. It's people thinking these things are going to be massively valuable. It's people thinking these large institutions are going to step in, and it's people trying to front run that ultimately happening. It's a thing that drives almost every single market. Now, a lot of people understand this, but actually one of the largest markets in the entire world, the Forex market, is over 90% speculation that drives that market. So speculation is not a bad thing. It's something that is critical to some of the most important markets of the entire world. But there is an extremely important difference in speculation versus long-term utility driving the price of these underlying protocols. And the massive difference I think not a lot of people truly understand for an asset like XRP is that the core utility of the XRP ledger blockchain and XRP itself also has the potential to drive the price of the token alongside the speculation that is always going to be present. And I think this is one of the most interesting aspects of XRP specifically because of where it's being positioned. Every cryptocurrency has utility, some kind of utility. Even Dogecoin, you can move Dogecoin a lot faster than you can a wire transfer, right? So even Dogecoin has utility. But why is XRP's utility so interesting when it comes to that utility being applied to the real world? Well, in my opinion, it's because of where XRP is being positioned. It's being positioned next to big money. It's being positioned next to the largest institutions in the entire world. We're going to go over that in a little more detail at the very end of the video. Make sure to stick around for that. But the point I'm trying to drive home here is every cryptocurrency is going to have a speculative component, and it's also going to have a utility component. The thing that makes XRP so special is the utility component is not being pushed to retail per se. In my opinion, the holy grail of the utility component of XRP is to be pushed to the largest banks, the largest institutions who have the most capital that I believe can make a significant difference in the underlying price of the token if they were to use it for its full intended use case. Now, with that said, I want to break down a tweet thread that actually really breaks this down, that was kind of the motivation for even making this video in the first place, because I think it goes over a lot of these concepts in a very interesting way. And I will say right now, I wouldn't say I agree with every single thing in this tweet thread, but I still think it's a fantastic tweet thread in visualizing a lot of the things I've been talking about here. So this is by Crypto Tank. He's had a lot of discussion on X about XRP price and how it will or will not rise in price in the future. Let me offer some info on what will happen when banks are using XRP to settle large transactions on a daily basis. Here is how I see things playing out going forward. To understand the price of XRP, first you need to understand how XRP is calculated. Market cap and utility are not the same thing. Utility assets price, in this case XRP, is determined by value/volume on ledger divided by circulating supply. High value/volume is needed for banks to transact. When banks move value from one to another for settlement, that will require deep liquidity pools to pull value from, or else the transaction could fail. Banks cannot afford to let the transaction fail. It is costly and causes them many issues. So deep liquidity is a must. Now, just to get an idea, B of A, Bank of America, SBI, JP Morgan, and Swift settle a combined approximately 30 trillion on a daily basis. So let's say 10% of that is through XRP just to start. Take 3 trillion on the XRP ledger. The liquidity pool would need to be double that to avoid friction between counterparties and for risk of not failing. This is just 4 institutions, for example. Ripple has over 1,700 NDAs, and we only know a few of who those players are. The numbers I just gave are just an example of a few big ones. Imagine the size of the pool needed for all of them. The key to XRP's price will be the value/volume on the ledger by these institutions to handle their daily transactions and the depth of liquidity pools to avoid failed transactions and ensure counterparties are always able, no matter what currency is used, to be able to transact. Retail doesn't matter, which is why retail doesn't move the price much at all. Charts don't matter because you can't chart utility value/volume these institutions will need, nor the depth of the liquidity pools the institutions will need. Anyone saying otherwise is wrong and not educated on that. So I would say for the most part, I actually do agree with a lot of this. What I really agree with is the fact that a lot of what we see in the market is just not going to be what makes up the majority of the market in the future. What we are seeing right now is a lot of people like you and I buying cryptocurrencies to speculate on them, and that causing the price to move accordingly. But just as Crypto Tank here says, I think the overall end goal for cryptocurrency is much bigger than people just buying it to speculate. It's these large institutions actually using the cryptocurrencies themselves to transmit value all over the world. And I think his point is critical. When we talk about banks, when we talk about institutions like the Federal Reserve, when we talk about governments, they deal with numbers that are much bigger than our numbers, right? We are talking about trillions of dollars daily. There's not even a trillionaire on earth. So even if Elon Musk was to start buying XRP in a massive fashion, right, that is still incomparable to the transaction volume of some of the biggest institutions on earth if they were using this asset for liquidity stake and to move value from point A to point B. I believe this is why a lot of the confusion around what the price is doing now versus what it could do in the future is so persistent in the XRP community. There are some people who want to value what XRP is capable of in the future based on what XRP is doing now. And I think that's perfectly fair. But I think you need to understand you're only pricing in the speculative part of what is happening on the XRP ledger now. You are discounting the fact that what Ripple is trying to do is put XRP in front of the largest institutions on earth to use the XRP value to affect trillions of dollars of value of transactions. If that is to happen, I think it is a no-brainer that XRP would reflect a much, much higher price because of the increased demand of a brand new use case that directly affects the value of the token. So what am I trying to say? There are 2 key drivers of XRP's price, and one of them has essentially been turned off thus far. But I think that's going to change in a very big way in the future. And I think we actually might be a lot closer than that than many people truly understand. I want to share this with you before I let this video go out. And that is that Chris Larsen and Brad Garlinghouse are actually meeting at the Federal Reserve Bank in Philadelphia later in October. The reason this is so interesting to me is because this directly goes to the idea that Ripple is meeting with the big institutions. They are meeting with the largest banks in the entire world. the types of institutions where only 1%, 0.5% of their payment flows would add trillions of dollars to the XRP ledger. The question is do you think blockchain is going to be important to the future financial system? The question is do you think there's a reason why Ripple is the only cryptocurrency company getting invited to these kinds of meetings? In my opinion, it seems obvious. If cryptocurrencies are adopted on any kind of wide scale, XRP and Ripple are going to be the key to that institutional adoption. And I believe when that happens, we are going to see value flow into XRP the likes we have never seen before. And it's going to render a lot of the things we have seen on XRP's price, a lot of the things we have seen on the XRP chart, essentially completely immaterial in comparison to what's around the corner. In the same exact way, XRP went so parabolic back in 2017 that you can't even see the early price action on the chart. My guess is we would see a similar thing once we see these large institutions stepping in. Guys, this is just my prediction. This is how I see things playing out. But I believe this is the holy grail for something like the XRP ledger. A blockchain technology designed for institutions and governments, designed to move money in the trillions of dollars. We are yet to see that yet. Right now, people are just speculating on that happening, but I really do believe every single day we are getting closer and closer to that reality. And I really think that when that reality does come true, we are going to see a lot of the things we are speculating on taking place in the price of XRP because of that underlying utility and demand. Guys, thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed this update. And for now, Mickle out.